afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Don Walters welcoming you to another edition of the Staten Island Bowling Club. This weekend finds us at Sunset Lanes here on Staten Island with our annual Scotch Doubles event. This is our third year with the Scotch Doubles event, and we have narrowed our field to our top 3 teams. And I have with me the team that is in 3rd place and the team that is 2nd place. Now, to my left is a team that finished 3rd place overall in a roll-off. And that team is comprised of Ahmed Ishmael, who I'm sure all of you viewers are familiar with. He's an avid supporter of the Staten Island Bowling Club. He's seated in a Tournament of Champions. And with Ahmed, we have a newcomer, Nicky Oliveri. Now, Nicky walked in cold yesterday. He wanted to bowl, and Ahmed said, "Come on, bowl with me." And I guess, Ahmed, the results at that point are history.
Yes, I teamed up with Nick, and I didn't know this gentleman, but the results was thankful. It's good.
Well, you know, you won a roll-off the first game today. You eliminated Bobby Garzone and Ronnie Pulaski. They finished 4th overall. So what do you feel you guys have to do to win today?
Well, I think today we're going to do the same strategy we did on a roll-off. Just try to make best shots and pick up our spares.
Spares more so than anything over here, Ahmed, are very important at Sunset Lanes. I think if it's difficult to string strikes over here, as you know, but if anybody can put a string together, they can do some damage.
Oh, definitely. These lanes are very tough, and a bowler, he really have to adjust to these lanes. It's hard to knock down the pins here.
Well, Nicky, the only advice I can offer you, my friend, is you got a great partner. I wish you the best of luck. Do the best you can and have fun.
Well, I thank you, Don. It's the first time tournament for me, and I hope for the best. I'm going to shoot the best I can, and whatever happens, happens.
I'm sure you'll have some coaching from your partner. You know, he's in our Tournament of Champions, by the way. So that's going to take place over here in 2 weeks from today, the 15th of November. He's in it. He's representing Jersey Lanes, I believe, right? Because he won to in Jersey Lanes.
Yes.
If you're free, you stop by 2 weeks and you cheer him on to victory, hopefully.
Yes.
No question about it. I'll be there.
And hopefully we're going to see more of you with our Staten Island Bowling Club.
Time will tell.
Ed, the best, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, their opponents for the first match are 2 mainstays with the Staten Island Bowling Club, Bobby Kafel and Jimmy Garrity. Bobby Kafel this year will not be going to our Tournament of Champions for the first time in 3 years. Jimmy's been a bridesmaid a couple of times, and he's going to be there before long. What do you feel you fellas have to do to win today?
Jimmy. Well, after seeing how they bowled the first match, we're going to have to throw strikes. Normally in this type of house, stay clean is the key, but we have to throw a lot of strikes.
Okay, Jimmy, I think you guys have one distinct advantage over them. Actually, 2 distinct advantages. One is the fact that combined you have a lot more experience than that team combined. And number 2, which is very important, you have a righty-lefty combo, so the spares that you leave should make it just a little bit easier for your partner to convert.
I hope so.
I think so, yeah. Jimmy, well, last year Jimmy and I ran into a little trouble with our splits, and if we don't make, if we don't get splits and we keep clean, because these 2 guys, they bowled a lot of strikes that last set, and we're gonna have to keep up with them. We're gonna have to stay with them.
Well, you're only spotting them 11 pins, so that handicap is certainly makeable. And again, the key over here is spares.
Yes, it is. And down Sunset Lanes here, you must make your spares. Strikes, you can throw anytime you want, but down here the key is spare making.
Okay. Well, I want to wish both of you guys the very best of luck, and let's get it on with this first match. Okay, we're ready to start our first game of our finals, or our Scotch doubles here at Sunset Lanes. And I have with me to my left is a man that went by the boards, unfortunately, in the first game. He finished 4th place overall with his partner, bridesmaid Bobby Garzone. And Bobby, you know, I say that with affection because you finished 2nd at the Green and 2nd at Linden Lanes in our Staten Island Bowling Club. And I know you guys just went by the boards in a roll-off with Nicky Oliveri and Ahmed Ishmael.
They bowled a great game, Donnie. They shot, I believe, 288.
Yes.
They shot 231. Only gave them 17 pins. They came out of the box with a strike, a spare, and 5 in a row. It was over.
You know, it's interesting how this works out. Here's a guy that walked in stone cold yesterday, didn't know anybody. Ahmed was gracious enough to bowl with him, not knowing him, and they're doing very well. Nicky's already started with a strike in this game as Bobby Kafel toes the line in his first frame with his partner, Jimmy Garrity.
I don't know too much about Nick Oliveri, but every ball he threw was just there. I mean, he left 2 4 pins early, threw a couple of strikes.
carried what looked to be was going to be a 5-7, carried it out. He throws a ball straight up to the pocket, and he's there all the time.
Well, I think when they needed that key strike to extend the string, they found a way to do it. And as a result, they went on to victory that given game.
Ahmed's no slouch when it comes to
Not at all.
He throws a good ball.
Not at all.
And he was right around the pocket.
Jimmy Garrity is going to shoot the 3-6, which he makes.
This is going to be a very good match. You got a lot of experience with Jimmy and Bobby. Ahmed's bowling about 10, 12 years, I believe. Nick, I really don't know too much about him. Jimmy and Bobby, you got a team with a lot of experience. You got one of the best bowlers on the island, Jimmy.
No question about it.
Bobby is starting to come into his own the last couple of years. And left shot here seems to be very nice. Intended by Ronnie Pulaski, my partner.
Certainly conducive to Bobby Kafel, too. Ahmed Ishmael starts with another strike, gives him an early double. And Bobby, he really mixed those 5-7 over here, which is good carry over here, really.
Sunset has a nice shot down, believe it or not. And a good carry here. You don't see that 10-pin every second and third frame with a 4-pin every couple of frames. Got a nice carry here. Pete Young, the new manager, doing an excellent job with this house.
Peter Rillia. Bobby Kafel is up in the second frame, and he's going to throw another 8 count. Bobby, I mentioned earlier that I think that Garrity and Kafel have a distinct advantage, not only in the experience factor, but the fact that it's a righty-lefty combo. So the spares that one guy leaves will be easier for his opponent to convert.
Well, Nick and Ahmed are getting 11 pins. Not that that's a hell of a lot, but they've got the first 2 here, and it's tough because they're already up quite a few pins.
We got a long way to go. If Garrity and Kafel stay clean, I'm sure they're going to find something. The key is to stay clean. You know, when you throw the ball and you leave a 5-pin, you can always set up a 5-pin to try to find your strike ball. So Jimmy, they just shoot that 2-5 spare, so maybe he found something as far as the strike is concerned. Now Nicky Oliveri is up on lane number 8, looking for a triple for his team. He's throwing the ball very well, Bobby. He's
right around the pocket. Every ball, he's right around the pocket.
He's walking that ball right in.
Yeah, he's in line with everything. He's straight up. Has a very low backswing. He really doesn't have much of a backswing. The ball maybe comes about 6 inches past his right leg. But he generates a lot of power coming forward with the ball. And he's right around the pocket every shot.
And you know, his game is a very simple game, and it's very difficult to make mistakes when your game is that simplified.
The simpler the game, the better.
Absolutely.
No,
absolutely. Nice ball for Bobby Kafel, left no doubt about that strike.
He's throwing some ball,
Bobby, you know, he lives here. And he's always a force to be reckoned with when we're over here with the Staten Island Bowling Club.
Hey, he's started well with the Staten Island Bowling Club. The luxury is now he's getting a taste of bowling house. He's been bowling good just about everywhere.
And he's the type of guy that he bowls 3-4 squads every house, so that he gets a lot of experience in that given house, and he knows what to do with that experience when he gets it. Now Ahmed Ishmael is up on lane number 7, looking for a 4-bagger for his team. Now remember, as soon as they don't strike, the partner is going to shoot the spare. Wow.
Since the beginning of this year, Ahmed's been experimenting with a ball with no thumb. He's not using
My
a thumb.
goodness, it's amazing,
He
isn't
is
it?
generating a lot of revolutions on the ball, a lot of power.
Unbelievable.
Very, very accurate.
Unbelievable. Now they are enjoying a 33-pin lead after 2 frames with a double up as Jimmy Garrity toes the line for lane number 4. This is a very big strike for him right here, Bobby. They want to stay. Yes.
To get going.
Jimmy Garrity answers the call to keep it at 33 pins. It's early. There's plenty of time.
If you had to give me 3 guys on Staten Island that I know that I had a partner that I had to get a strike with, that had to have a strike, Jimmy would be right up there. He'd be one of my guys, I think.
Bobby, what I'm looking at is totally against what I had said. I said it's very difficult to string strikes here, and I mean, one team has 4 in a row, the other team has a double.
It's a very, very good shot. It's not a give-me shot, but it's definitely a hittable shot, and you got a good carry here. They got the first 5.
Can you believe this?
Nick is putting every ball right there.
They are bowling like a team with a mission, let me tell you. First 5 in a row. Now, Bobby Kafel has to throw a strike to remain 33 pins down. You know, if they don't make a mistake, you can't jump on it. And Oliveri and Ishmael are just not making any mistakes at all. And to putting all the pressures heavily on the shoulders of Kafel and Garrity. And again, this is Bobby Kafel's house, so he does have a slight advantage in that regard. Threw that ball very well. Left a
Just a little
6-10.
high, left a 6-10, tripped out to 7.
Ball seemed to jump at the tail end, Bobby.
Yes, it did. He did pull it inside. I think avoided 2 more than he wanted to, but the ball had a chance. But it just avoided disaster by kicking out to 7. Jimmy's left with a fairly easy spare. It's a fairly easy spare for him.
Right now, at this point in the game, Bobby, every spare is vital to their survival.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot for them to get back into this match. Down 35 pins, 45 pins. Jimmy converts the spare, very nicely done. And Ahmed is up on alley 8.
So they have 126 through 4, and Oliveri and Ishmael have 141 through 3 with a double up. Wow.
Very tough. I would say that for any shot of this, that Bobby's going to have to strike on his next one.
No question. No question. And again, they have to look for an error. That was,
Ahmed leaving a 7-pin. Very good ball.
no, he tripped the 10. I thought he was going to trip the 7 along with the 10.
Almost.
So that kills the fire anyway, temporarily.
Nicky's, like you said, he has a very simple approach. This spare shouldn't be too tough for him. He's right at the pins. And he converts this. Bobby and Jimmy are going to have to string a couple right now.
Wow.
See, what do I know about bowling?
They are human, aren't they? Well,
Didn't miss it by much, but he did miss it. It's right at the pin. There's a little bit of oil down. Believe it or not, there's a little bit of oil on the lanes. And, you have to be careful, but not too careful.
but now you have to see if Kafel can take advantage of that break.
This is a big break for
Very,
them.
very,
They throw a double here. They can
Very
get back in
large
the
break
match.
right here.
Oh,
Wow. Bobby, the one thing they didn't need was a wide open split.
what the situation is here now, this is a spare. This is a split that is only left by a left-handed bowler.
Right,
And you have
right.
a right-handed bowler shooting at it, and who has a little advantage?
No question. And
Because he's
my
sliding the
train
pin
of
from
thought
left
is
to right.
he's got to try to convert this spare. He's got to try to convert it.
I mean, it's not as easy. It's not a hard spare. It's makeable.
Well, he's going to carry
It's harder
count
for the
9
lefty
on
to
it.
make it, but with the righty shooting it, Jimmy gave it a shot. But
Okay, so Oliveri and Ishmael have 198 through 6, and Garrity and Kafel have 153 through 6.
somebody's poking me in the back. I think it's my partner, Ronnie Polanski. I think he wants to get in and say a few words. So, Donnie, I'm going to let go.
Okay,
And,
Rob.
Ronnie's pushing me out.
Thank you, sir. Don't fall, though, huh? Okay, Ahmed Ishmael is now up on lane 8 for the team of Oliveri, and he gets 9 in a wiggle. Hello there, Mr. Pulaski. How are you?
How are you today, Mr. Walters?
I know you guys went up against the buzzsaw in your roll-off.
Oh, yeah, they threw the ball very well. The two of them kept the ball in play and carried a lot of nice shots. And unfortunately, on our side, we didn't carry too many.
Well, right now, Oliveri and Ishmael are enjoying a 35-pin lead
Yes,
as
they're
we
very
approach frame
comfortable
number.
right now.
Yes, they are. I stand corrected. 45-pin lead with 4 frames left. If they can stay clean,
Yeah,
I think they'll be advancing to the championship game.
they should be, unless Mr. Kafel gets hot on the left side there.
Well, it's going to take a dual effort because he's going to have to get some help from his partner, Jimmy Garrity.
Mr. Gary hasn't got a chance to go too many first balls since Bobby Kafel's let off.
And you know, it's interesting, Ronnie, as you know, that Bobby Kafel also qualified first in this event with Walter Palmer. So he's going to be bowling in the next game regardless. I mean, if his team should lose this game, he's still bowling with Walter Palmer as the #1 seed.
He's probably a little more relaxed, you know, just maybe even now, even trying to even feel a shot out. I know he's trying, he's trying his best out there. But the left side, he's not a bad shot for him. Should be able to do pretty well.
All right, now they're in a position where they're not going to do it with spares. They're going to have to throw strikes.
When you get in the hole early, you know, you go down to a 5-timer to start the game off, you put yourself in a very big disadvantage there. And if you're not carrying a key shot here and there, when you need it, Well, this is where you find yourself.
Wow.
Ahmed has been carrying every shot, a lot of his shots today on the over. Very nice first ball. Hitting the pocket flush. Getting a nice mix out of the pins. Him and his partner are throwing the ball very well today. His partner's throwing the ball straight up the outside and the right side, which I've seen in the past here during qualifying hasn't been always the best shot, but today it seems to be holding on.
My goodness. So they have 218 through 7. And Kafel has to throw a strike to stay 45 down.
He did.
And he is still 45 pins down as we get to the late stages of the game. We are now in the 9th frame, and there is a 45-pin lead by Oliveri and Ishmael. And the game is so unique because, I mean, you look at the experience factor, and you would think that Garrity and Kafel would win this thing going away, and yet it's just the reverse.
Yes, this is very true, and maybe with the inexperience, you don't really know what you're up against. You're just throwing the ball, trying to stay loose.
Exactly right. You see, the thing when you don't have the experience, you're supposed to lose, so you really don't care. You're just out there having fun, and I think that's what Nicky's doing right now.
There's another nice straight-up shot.
I think he lost that ball a little bit, Ronnie, in his approach, or in his backswing, rather.
I haven't seen Ahmed shoot too many spares today.
Well,
this could be interesting.
It's not an easy one. It's a tough spare. The one.
Oh, I chopped a spare in the first game.
1, 2, 4, 8. Very tough spare under any conditions, and the good news is they have room for error right here. But Ahmed is not interested in that.
No, he's right on top of it.
Makes a fine conversion, gives him 238 through the 8th, and just about wraps the game up for Nick Oliveri and Ahmed Ishmael.
Mr. Gary has to throw a strike up here.
Isn't this interesting?
Now, and anything is possible when they go to that 10th frame.
Now that ball really died, huh?
Yeah, the right side is a little different than the left. There's really not too much of a what they call a hold area on the right side. The ball just continues driving. And the way you see Nick Oliveri playing straight at the outside, that's proof of it, because the ball's going to drive it from the outside, and Ahmed's really swinging the ball out wide and letting it come back. And he's knowing the right side is going to rip in the back end.
Okay, so Bobby Cable converts the spare, but the excitement is gone. The game is over.
There has been no heroic 10th frame finishes today.
Very, very large scores over here too. They can come back with another 288 if Nicky should strike out, but they will definitely advance to the championship game and take on Walter Palmer and Bobby Kafel. And the team of Garrity and Kafel will finish 3rd place overall.
Yes. Well, they have a possibility of another 288 coming. We've never really expected that in this type of event. High scores like this. Because with one guy throwing one ball, the other person throwing the other ball, very rare you can get 2 guys getting very red hot.
And 2 guys that don't really know one another.
This is true too. Well, they're already in the 280s. It's just a matter if they shoot a 288 or not now. This is 800 series the hard way here.
Yeah. Well, Nicky's got one more ball to throw here to complete this game. And then I guess Jimmy Garrity is going to throw the 10th frame for the team of Garrity and Kafel. And they're going to finish 3rd place overall.
And they've done it, 288.
Well, I don't know what Ahmed Ishmael has been telling Nicky Oliveri, but whatever it is, it's been working up to this point.
He's probably just telling him to keep within himself and keep the ball in play. Just don't make no silly mistakes. Don't try to help with the ball, because it's a team event now. It's not an individual event.
Jimmy Garrity and Bobby Kafel can finish with a 243, which ain't bad either. Normally, under normal conditions, that's good enough to win. Certainly good enough to win.
You figure you're shooting 230, 240 in this type of event, that should be good enough to win. But evidently today, it's not even close. It's not even close to it.
Well, you know, I do have to admit, Ronnie, over here during qualifying for the 2 weekends we were here, the scores were very, very consistent.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the scores that held over for the first weekend didn't get touched during the course of the competition for the second weekend. So that tells you the scores were very consistent.
Yeah, we had pretty much the same shot both weekends. I was down here both weekends bowling. I found the shot to be the same, at least on the left side. And the right side looked pretty much the same. I bowled with all righty partners. I didn't bowl with any lefty partners.
So I have to compliment Sunset Lanes for that. They kept the shot very steady, very consistent. And every time I come over here, they treat me so good. It's amazing. Anything I want, they always do for me. It's nice to be here. Okay, so his team will finish with a 240 as he throws 7 on a fill. So the team of Garrity and Kafer will finish 3rd place overall, take home 3rd place money. And our title match is going to feature Nick Oliveri and Ahmed Ishmael. And they're going to be taking on Walter Palmer and Bobby Kafer. Okay, we are back with our championship match, and I have with me to help me out for this game Jimmy Garrity. Jimmy, as you all just saw, went by the boards in that game, and his partner was Bobby Kafer. Jimmy, welcome to Sunset Lanes, and I know you're very familiar with this house because you've been king of the hill over here for a couple of weeks on Tuesday nights.
Thank you, Donnie, for having me here. It's a very interesting match, this format. There's a lot of strategy involved, but once you partner with yourself, if you fail to hit a certain lane, it makes things really tough.
Well, I know you guys were up against it that game, Jimmy, because they come at you with 5 in a row before you guys even got settled in. So it was an uphill climb for you the whole game. Okay, this is Walter Palmer throws a 7 count, and his partner Bobby Kafer will attempt to make up the spare. And, you know, Jimmy, we all know Walter Palmer. Walter Palmer seems to be his worst enemy. He's either very good or very bad. So you never know which Walter Palmer is going to show up.
That's true. You had mentioned before that a righty-lefty combination would be good, but I found myself shooting spares I've never shot.
Yeah, I thought that was unique. I was watching that myself. Tough spare here. Tough way to come out of the gate. And, you know, Jimmy, the interesting thing here, again, Nicky Oliveri and Ahmed Ishmael are again receiving pins. They're getting 8 pins from the team of Palmer and Kafer. As Nicky Oliveri, they're using the same strategy they used every game. Nicky Oliveri is starting off. And thus far, every game, he's started with a strike.
That's the key. That's why I had Bobby start, because I was wide in on alley 8. If Bobby would strike, I felt we'd get off to a good start. As Nick just struck,
I'm telling you,
they're off again.
I'm very surprised, Jimmy, that the lanes have seemed to be pretty consistent for every game. I thought by now that the oil might be breaking down, but that's not the case.
It's a rough format because I only got to throw 1 first ball in alley 7.
Yeah.
I thought I threw it good, but it come up heavy. So it's an interesting format.
Ishmael throws it on a cross, leaves a 5-9, and his partner, Nick Oliveri, will attempt to make the 5-9 spare.
That'll change their rotation now because Nick was hitting alley 8 the last match, and Ahmed was really wide in alley 7. Now they'll be switching. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust to the lanes and if they can continue to strike.
Not only that, Nicky's been throwing strikes for a long period of time. Sometimes it's tough to adjustment to make a spare.
Yeah.
But he was equal to that one. So they're already enjoying a 20-pin lead through 1 frame. They have 71 with their handicap to 51 for Palmer and Kafer. And Walter Palmer toes the line for frame number 2 on lane 8.
Walter come up a little bit heavy with that ball. He left the 4-pin. Should be an easy spare for Bobby.
Bobby, what makes Bobby so good over here, Jimmy, is he's very accurate on his spares. And, you know, in Sunset, normally spares is the name of the game.
That's the key thing down here. They just come at it to shoot, striking, and the main thing is to stay clean throughout the whole match. Bobby picked up the spare.
That's money in the bank for him, Jimmy, really. For 4-pin conversions, money in the bank for Bobby Cafel. He's just not going to miss many of those. Although he did struggle a wee bit with you. It was you have to wonder, Jimmy, if it was on his mind, Bobby. You know he was in a title match. So bowling with you was like a preliminary for him because he knows he was going to advance to the title. So you wonder if he was thinking about that. I think we have a little, looks like we have a little mind game going on right now between the two contestants. Sometimes that's part of Walter Palmer's battle plan.
He's not giving a room. He's tugging that ball. Should be an easy spare again for Bob.
You know, Walter is somewhat of a technician when he bowls, Jimmy. Every facet of the game he wants down to a science so he can make the best possible shot, and sometimes that works against him. Another spare. They have 69 in a second with a spare in a third. Ahmed Ishmael is now up on lane number 8. Jimmy, that's the first time he hasn't carried that 7-pin.
And he also threw a different ball. It looked like he had a blue pearl that time, where before he was throwing a different ball. It was really swinging out far. He threw a white dot that time. So it is playing games with him. He's changing his strategy already.
Remember the last time Nicky had this spare on 7, he missed it. However, he made the adjustment, and this time he converts it. They are enjoying a 21-pin lead right now through 2 frames.
If Ahmed can strike now to get back in their rotation again, because he's up on his favorite lane.
It's really unique how he throws that ball with 2 fingers, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, he's got this lane down. It could be tough now.
Let's see if Walter can answer the call with a strike of his own. Ball rolled out on him.
It looked like he tried getting out hard, and it looks like he pulled up on it. Looks like he held up a little bit on the thumb and gave a little more loft than he wanted, I think.
He took a little bit of roll off the ball, and as a result, Bobby Cafel's got to shoot the 4-7 spare. You know, Bobby Cafel won this event 2 years. I'm sorry, Jimmy. He won this year two years ago with Jimmy Garbino, and he finished second last year.
It's a tough spare. He got it. Corners are rough in this house. It's very easy to chop.
Why is that, Jimmy? No oil pattern, or?
It's pretty dry in the back end. Ball gets down. It
has a tendency to
got a lot of roll out.
Yeah.
It just takes a little extra snap on you.
9 for Walter. Gets an extra pin. At least he can't chop it now. Walter looks like he wants to give Bobby a good variety of spares to shoot. But again, you keep making the spares. It keeps you in the game until you can find something.
Interesting. I had to shoot the 10-pin, and I'm normally I adjust my wristband when I shoot the 10-pin, and I was up there ready to throw the strike. That's why I had to change before. But I had a little too much hook on the ball.
They continue to make the spares. They are still trailing by 23 pins. They have 106 in the fourth with a spare in the fifth. And Oliveri and Ishmael have 110 in the third with a strike in the fourth.
If Nick can strike, they get back into that pattern again. They're going to be awful tough.
And that's exactly what they're looking for, Jimmy. You know they're thinking about it. They get right back into that rhythm that they had earlier. Looks like he pulled that ball a wee bit. Very tough spare. 1-3-5-6. Not what he wanted there, Jimmy. I think he babied that ball a little too much. Cafel and Palmer talking strategy right now. Tough spare for anybody under these conditions, Jim.
Especially getting out the 5-pin.
Tough spare.
It opened the door. Let's see if Walter and Bob can capitalize on it.
They have narrowed the gap to 10 pins. That could certainly throw them right out of their entire rhythm that they've been enjoying up to this point.
All day that they've had some pressure on them now.
Yeah.
But with handicap bowlers, this is what you have to watch. A
You're
one-game match,
absolutely right.
anything can happen. The more
You're
games you go, the better bowler will come through in the end. So this would be a big shot for Nick right
And
now.
not only that, Jimmy, when you have that kind of a lead, you're just out there freewheeling. You're just having fun.
He came right
He
back.
answered the call, didn't he?
Nice easy swing. He's right through the ball. Looks like it could be going places, Nick. Looks pretty confident out there.
I think the longer he bowls, the more confident he becomes. I mean, Walter Palmer's been in this game for a long period of time, and he's not the type of guy that's going to beat himself. So if a good shot can be made, you know Walter's going to make it.
He got that one out good. Yeah, they're right back in the match now.
10-pin deficit on the part of Palmer and Cafel. Both teams have strikes up in the sixth frame. Bobby Cafel can draw even with a strike here and put the pressure firmly on the shoulders of Ahmed Ishmael, who will be bowling for his team.
A little bit light.
Another key spare right here.
It's a little tough for a righty because a right-handed bowler doesn't see this very often.
And he's got to come into the pins and hope he doesn't chop. Uh-oh. Wow. Jimmy, I'm glad he threw that ball with a lot of speed. Otherwise, he had a big problem there.
I can tuck the ball inside his shot line a little bit. The key shot now for Ed.
Wow. Now, Jimmy, let me ask you, should he shoot to convert this or should he go for the wood?
I would have him shoot for the 2 pins, only because a little inexperienced bowler. He did miss a 7-pin already. By just shooting at the 2 pins, he's got a good shot at making it.
And not only 2 pins means 4 right now, too.
That's the best thing you could do right now. He made a good shot. Sees the other team, they're not putting any strikes together. So I think that was a very smart move.
Well, the lead has just changed hands now. Cafel and Palmer are now leading by 2 pins through 7 frames. Very makeable 5-pin for Nick Oliveri to shoot. Although, as you said earlier, there's a little more pressure now than there was in his earlier matches.
Exactly.
You have to see how he's going to respond to that pressure. I guess, Jimmy, there's really no strategy you can employ because you don't know who's going to be throwing strikes, who's going to be throwing spares, so you really don't know. You know who you want to start the 10th, but that may not work out that way.
Right.
He played that one safe, Jimmy. Right down the middle of the lane. Converted to 5-pin. Jimmy, I made a comment earlier that if you're struggling, you can always try to set up a strike shot when you shoot a 5-pin spare. Now, that was a good opportunity for Nicky to do that, but I don't think he has enough experience to. So Bobby Cable can throw a strike here. They'll take a 2-pin lead. Looks good. Threw that ball very well.
Beautiful ball.
Wow. We left little doubt on that one.
Well, coming into the 9th frame now. This is the foundation, as we call it.
Foundation, yes.
This will be the turning point for the team right now.
Strike here, Jimmy, as you well know, is very, very important. Walter's going to take a little extra time on this one. He knows the importance of this shot. Come up light, mixed, got a 9 count, leaves a very makeable 2-pin. Bobby Cable simply has to throw a strike ball here, and he's going to convert this 2-pin.
Pin count's very important now, especially in this house. It's so easy to throw a bad count.
Yes.
They can pop up at any moment.
Oh, you know you've got to stay focused on every ball you throw over here. You can't get careless. And not get careless. And this is a big 9th frame for Ahmed Ishmael right here. He'd love to put a strike on a board. And he trips the floor, and he does. Now, this is going to be interesting, Jimmy, because Nicky Oliveri is going to bowl a 10th frame. The man with the least experience is going to bowl in the 10th frame.
So that strike was big because if both teams spare in the 10th, the pin count with that strike in the 9th could be the turning point of this game right now.
Yes. And Walter Palmer is going to bowl a 10th frame for the team of Kafel and Palmer. And that's a position that Walter Palmer is very familiar with.
Broke up the split.
That's a
This
safe
is a
ball, though,
3-pin.
Jim. It's a safe
Good
ball.
shot.
Still looking at a 2-pin difference here with the conversion. This is the biggest ball of the day for Nick Oliveri. Drop that ball short. It's going to run.
And Don, here's where the experience comes through. He's both three games, and it's just taking its toll on him.
Yes, mentally, absolutely right. And that certainly is a lot of pressure to feel. So they finish with a 2-12. So Walter Palmer needs a good count on the first ball.
If you try to be too careful in this house, you got to stay with his shot, throw it hard, and a good follow through.
I would throw right down the middle.
Very nice.
He looked through the ball real well.
That's what he needed.
Through the ball real well, and he wraps up the game. Again, he's been in that position many, many times, and it's not something that it's not new to him. He knows what he has to do. He knows how to win, and he goes about doing it. So Bobby Cable is going to go to the winner's circle for the 2nd time in 3 years in this event with a different partner. He's been on the board last year in 2nd. The year before, he won it all with Jimmy Garbino. And this year, he's back to the winner's circle with one Walter Palmer. Walter comes back with another one. And he's going to crack a smile. There it goes. So they're going to finish with a 236 with the fill ball. To Oliveri and Ishmael's 212. But I think Nicky Oliveri put on a nice show of bowling today, Jimmy.
He's a very good.
You know, for an inexperienced bowler like himself, he made a fine effort. So it's a 235 finale to 212. And once again, Bobby Kafel goes to the winner's circle. So we're going to, Jimmy, I want to first of all thank you for sitting in with me and helping me out. You know, my partner Bobby Simonelli is under the weather, so he's home taking care of what he's got to do. And it's nice having you here. I appreciate your input. It's certainly welcomed and valued.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, my friend.
Good luck with the next one.
Thank you, my friend. The next one is, you know, is the TFC. That's 2 weeks from today, right here at Sunset. And a week after that, we start at Country Lanes. That's our 2-game elimination tournament. And you're already signed up to bowl in the first squad of that one.
This will be my first time trying that, so I'm looking forward to it.
It's a very interesting format. You'll enjoy it. Hopefully, you'll get to the top 16, where you can enjoy it.
I just want to say something. Me and Nick right here. It was my pleasure, and it was an honor me to bowl with a gentleman like this guy right here.
Know, it's always my pleasure
really
to have you, my friend. You know
thank you.
You know that. Thank you. Mickey, I do hope we see more of you with the Staten Island Bowling Club. I want to welcome you.
We'll be here next year.
Yeah, you have a good mentor in Ahmed. He's, as I said, he's in our TFC, and I know I'm going to see him again. We're going to focus our attention on this year's champions. Mr. Kafel is there for the second time in 3 years. Now, this fella to my left goes coma for 10 months of the season. He comes back at Colonial Lanes. He makes a nice showing at Colonial Lanes. He comes over here and bowls in the last squad that we both had to twist his arm to bowl in.
That's right, we did.
Correct? Correct. Had to twist his arm to bowl in the squad, and these are the results. Did you guys have any special strategy for the championship match?
Well, during practice, we were both burying the shots.
I wanted a couple of conferences.
I wanted Walter to lead because he's throwing such a good practice ball, and I can follow right behind it. But the key shot that was made is when I left the 3-5-6, which he hardly ever sees.
Yeah.
And he made it.
I just want everybody to see, this is the new manager at Sunset Lanes, Peter Aurelia. And Petey treats me like a king every time I'm over here with a tournament for the club on Tuesday night with King of the Hill. Above and beyond anything we want, he's always accommodated us. And Petey, I really want to thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here. We're here today. I'm glad we're here. Again, you've rolled out the red carpet for me. You've always taken care of me. And I want everybody to know that. I want to acknowledge that in front of all the viewers that are watching today. The champion today is a homegrown guy. He's been here the second time in 3 years. Walter, of course, you know, everybody knows Walter. Everybody knows Walter. And Bobby Kafel, again, second time in 3 years. The liability is they're not going to be going to the Tournament of Champions, which is going to be here in 2 weeks, because it's an open tournament. Maybe next year we'll make changes, but for now, that's the way it sits. However, your handicaps will be affected based on your earnings today. Okay? Okay, Loy, I guess that's about it. We're going to wrap it up. We're here at Sunset Lanes with the Staten Island Bowling Club. Our Scotch Doubles has come to an end. Our latest winners are Bobby Kafel and Walter Palmer. Our next stop with the Bowling Club is our Tournament of Champions. That's right here 2 weeks from today, the 15th of November. And from there, we're going to move on to Country Lanes on the 21st of November. That event starts on the 21st, and that's our 2-game elimination tournament.